Hey guys, Tarke here, and I want to talk about my new build for Hardcore Perandus League. Now, I haven't died, I just got a bit bored of Incinerate, and I've been thinking about speed builds because I've been doing all this Kadiro farming. I thought, I wonder what the fastest skill in the game is. And then I thought, I don't want to play something good. So now I decided I want to play Oro Sacrifice, and that's what we have here. So I have a lot of currency because all I've been doing is farming, so I picked up a perfect Combed Heart, pretty decent roll Oros, Doriani's already had on me, and a pair of Windscreen, which hopefully, if we buy enough and Val enough, we'll get +1 Frenzy charges. So I'll show you the build, and when I show you the build, I'll sort of go over why I decided to play this. I wanted to play something interesting, for one, and I wanted to do something I hadn't played before, and I've never played Oros before. Now, one thing I will say is, if this build seems familiar to you, this was very heavily inspired. I did a lot of Googling, I did a lot of research. Again, I've never played an Oro Sacrifice before, so I looked at all the builds out there, kind of took a bit from everything, and then tried to tailor something to hardcore. Now, I'm going to say there's a lot of points in this tree. Well, I've added a few things, and I need to trim a few things, and, you know, you sort of work it out here. So, first off, one big thing is the reason we take these physical damage nodes, even though we're using an Oro Sacrifice, is we put the Firepawn Jewel there. The Firepawn Jewel is increased reductions to other damage types in the radius are transformed to pi fire damage. So if I put that there, we get fire damage all the way through, everything's good. The whole thing about Oro's Sacrifice is it only does fire damage. It's purely elemental, it does no physical damage. And chance to gain frenzy charges if an attack ignites an enemy. So it's all about you ignite, you get perma frenzy charges, flicker for days, Combed Heart hopefully keeps you alive in hardcore, all does fire damage. Hopefully it works, right? And the Doriani's gives you a little bit of leech. It gives you that chance to ignite when I'm using a flask. Gives you some fire damage. Potential synergy would occur, one would hope. So we're just sort of trying to have fun with all the currency that we've acquired. Now, it's actually a pretty tanky build. We've got 195% life. And yes, okay, I need to trim some points, but I've also got all the endurance charges. If I wanted to, I could just drop the endurance charges and my build would be the right amount, or I could drop some life nodes on the trees, like I could trim a few 5% here and there, and it'd be about the right amount. One other thing, yes, I know that if I took these two fire damage nodes, it would be better than taking this 8%, but I'm trying to keep the points low. If you don't want to be worrying with endurance charges, cut the endurance charges. If you want to keep the endurance charges, cut a few of the bad health nodes, and, you know, you'll sort of work out from there. But the tree is pretty much set. Apparently the mana cost is really difficult to maintain. So we've gotten this wheel here, and hopefully we're going to be getting some nice reduced mana cost jewels. This jewel is fixed. This has to be the Fireborn jewel, but that still leaves us with 3 other jewel slots. So what we could do is we could cut some life from the tree. If we got life, reduced mana cost, we could still easily be okay. So let's just theoretically say we did something like that. And the tree's kind of looking okay point-wise. Whatever, right? So yeah, this is sort of the build. It's fairly straightforward. I will have a link for all of this down below, but for leveling, I basically think I just sort of level as whatever I can get my hands on, probably Multistrike or something, because you can't use Oro Sacrifice till 67, I want to say, and then I'll transition to that. For links, I am very professional. I've gotten up a notepad document. Flick Strike with Splash, then Multi, Weapon Elemental Damage, Chance to Ignite, because Chance to Ignite gives us more Frenzy Charges, Fire Pen. We're going to be using Art to counter. The reason we're using the Windscreen Boots is we're going to be doing Jewel Curse. So we're going to do Warlord's Mark, then either Enfeeble or Flammability. The reason why I want the Warlord's Mark is it gives me more leech. It's a way of keeping the endurance charges up. I've picked up all the endurance charges, so that seems pretty good to me. Then for the cast from damage taken, Immortal Call, Molten Shell, Golem. If you want to be lazy, you can put your Blood Rage in there, but I'm just going to self-cast Blood Rage. So Blood Rage, Val Haste, Leap Slam, Faster Attacks just to move around. You could maybe do something with Ancestral Totem, maybe, but I'm not too keen on it. I just think it's kind of clunky with the build. Now, as for my Ascendancy, and the big reason why I'm doing Duelist, is Fortify. Fortify is pretty good. I don't want to worry about having to link Fortify into my Leap Slam. I just want Fortify up. I'm playing a Flicker build. I don't want to fall over. I'm also pretty interested in this. Some people recommend you go for Inspirational for the 35% increased damage and movement speed. If you're ever going to be playing with another player, 100% go for that. But I'm not going to ever be playing with another player, I don't think. So this is just better for me. It will give me just 40% increased damage when I'm not on low life, which is 30%. And it'll give me some increased armor evasion when I am on low life. And it will remove status ailments. So if I drop to 30%, I'm going to lose a bunch of damage. But I'll remove any status ailments. And to be honest, with really any build, when you drop down to 30% life, you're either just instantly seething back up to full, or you're dead, right? So maybe removing the status ailment, like the bleed, might save me, like a freeze, a shock. You know, this status ailment might just save me. Like if I'm being really stupid, I'm just running, because it doesn't say elemental, it says status ailment, so I'm like 100% sure this will remove bleeds. If I forget that it bleeds on me and I'm just running, the bleed will turn off, and that should keep me alive, that should keep me all happy. So for normal, you'd go right to here, through to here, and then you'd pick this up in Merciless. If you wanted to, you could get this first and then get these later, because this is a bit weak unless you're maintaining Fortify manually. But I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. You can get Fortify pretty straightforward, just throw it in with your Leap Slam, then in Crawl you get this. So yeah, this is basically the build. I'm hoping it will work. I've seen a lot of videos on Oro Sacrifice. They seem to do pretty well. I will keep this build updated if I make any more changes to it. If I decide that the endurance charges aren't worth it, if I decide I want more life, if I decide that this is all terrible, then that's that. But one other thing I will say, for the Solaris farming people, I've been trying to come up with like Sanic builds, like the fastest builds possible. And you want to be using 7 League Step, 100%, 50% just movement speed. Bronze Life, hear me out. Devoto's Devotion. Warped Timepiece, Dual Wield Wild Slash. You go super quick. I don't know how you do damage, but like that's if you just want to do like just pacing. You could maybe do something interesting with Cast on Crit Whirling Blades, so you never stop Whirling Blades. Or you could just do a normal good build like Blade Vortex and run some flasks. But yeah, I'm Tarke. I'll be streaming this character over the next few days, and I will have to level it up, so bear with me. Have a good day. Bye bye.